All right, we are live. All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the Black Carnivore channel, and I'm really excited to talk to you all tonight. It has been 2 weeks, so I miss it. I miss you guys. Arien and I both miss, the lively conversation and everything. So we're really happy to be back, and we are, just gonna chat and chop it up tonight. We didn't have a, specific topic, but I know that we wanted to discuss some of the themes from the interview on Tuesday with Sybil. So I would love for you to jump in and ask your questions and give us your thoughts, and we'll go from there. So, Arien, thoughts about Sybil? What did you think?
I thought it was probably the biggest thing that I'm still perplexed on is to have a very decent blood sugar, but to have diabetic symptoms. I don't even know how that's possible. Apparently, I don't understand diabetes nearly enough. Because that threw me. Her blood sugar was 99, she said all the time, and if she eats a little bit of carbs the night before, she said a little bit of sweet potato with dinner, then it goes even lower. It'll be lower the next morning. She has a very strong dawn effect apparently. Some of the stuff with her blood sugar and that the stuff about her blood sugar was surprising, and I don't really know what to make of it.
Yeah I agree. I mean, I found it confusing too. I did reach out to Dr. Hampton about, the thing that she was talking about with, basically saying that, Black people may be carb intolerant. And, I reached out to him, and he sent me a study that about the effects of ages, which is, oh my God, I forgot what it stands for. Advanced glycation end products, I think.
Yes.
And how it seems to have a greater effect on Black patients in terms of heart disease and so on. So, so that was his suggestion that, perhaps there is something to there being greater glycation for the same amount of glucose in the bloodstream in Black people versus, other people.
And that's what I was figuring when she said, our glucose is the same. It's not that she had a high glucose or something like that, but she just still had a higher A1C. And I know A1C is, I don't know exactly what it stands for, but it's a measure of the glycation of your red blood cells. So maybe for some reason, just the same amount of blood sugar is hitting the, it's getting more of that sugar is getting into the red blood cells, which is the glycation. So that just sounds all right, for some reason we glycate more possibly, and that's why our A1C is a higher range.
Yeah.
So I thought,
go ahead.
I was thinking, my first thought was, so then that means that she could very possibly still be healthy, still be fine. And it's just that we're thinking of A1C incorrectly in terms of Black people. But then she said she has diabetic symptoms sometimes. And I go, oh, okay. Well, that throws that whole theory out the window. I don't know. I'm back to being lost.
Yeah. Well, so she was diabetic at a lower A1C than expected, or she experienced, typical symptoms of people with diabetes at a lower A1C. But, reverse that while being on a carnivore diet, but still has the higher A1C. So she did tell me that she gets her fasting insulin tested. I don't know what those numbers are supposed to be, but I think they were in the 60s or 70s, I want to say. So I don't know, if that's good or not or what that is. But, she's still trying to dig into that and kind of figure out what these numbers mean. But she's kind of a outlier, in general when it comes to these numbers. So, so I thought that was interesting. And one other thing she said was that when you go keto, your red blood cells tend to live longer and be healthier. And the A1C is based off of the assumption that your red blood cells are, every 3 months totally replaced, totally renewed. So that it does throw the test off just being keto. So I don't know.
So then that would explain a lot then. And it
maybe
kind of it proves, or not proves, but it points to me that maybe like A1C isn't the be all end all number that a lot of us think it is when it comes to diabetes. Because that would mean that you could very easily have a higher A1C and not have any problems, and there's actually no need for concern. Which kind of points me to, as I was thinking about a lot of this stuff, I thought, we think about numbers, we think about these labs, and we try to figure out we use these labs as a measurement of health. When I feel like we should be our measurement of health. If we feel good, if you're waking up with energy, and you're sleeping fine, you're digesting fine, you don't have aches and pains, you are healthy.
Yeah.
Or at least there's a much greater chance of you being healthy. And the labs have to be taken in context with this qualitative good feeling that you have all the time.
Yeah. I agree. That's kind of the approach you have to take. Like, I don't know. And I think she's confused too, is about, what to think about all of this. Yeah, Johnny G says A1C for carnivores may not be helpful. So
I can see that. Or at the very least that we need a much different, they need to, the same way she said that the normal range isn't based off of Black people, which I had basically known, but it was very good to have another person say that, like, very directly, like, it's not based on Black people. So, and to have doctors tell her, I can't interpret your lab work because everything that I've been taught has been about white people. It's been based on white people, and we don't know, like, there's just some evidence that says that for Black people, these numbers are going to be different. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you said, like, we need to be, if every Black carnivore looked at got their numbers checked, that might be helpful.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, we should know these things. We should know, it should be stated as they tell you what the normal range is. Like, if I look up my lab results from the last time I got any sort of panel done, they should know that, or it should be stated that this is based on white people. So it's at least a little less applicable for you.
Yeah. I've never had anyone tell me that or make that suggestion. So not very helpful.
And that's frustrating.
Yeah. And Johnny G, very, very funny. I don't know how you knew that I made jerky last night. So, yeah. So, dog has been very insistent all day long.
Just a really good guess.
Yeah, it's a very good guess. So,
what else did you guys talk about in that interview?
I mean, we covered the gamut.
All these Spartan, the fact that she's such a heavy athlete, I wonder how that changes what her numbers are and what they should or shouldn't be. Like, she did the trifecta, which was 3 of those in 1 year. Like, and I've seen like just glimpses of what the Spartan races are. They're insane.
Yeah, I know. So when I went to take pictures for the thumbnail and stuff, It was like, oh my gosh, wow, look at all of these, these events and contests. There were a lot of great pictures to choose
Hmm.
from. But yeah, it was definitely more than I expect to be doing. So,
Right. So like how does that change what your A1C is like for somebody like her compared to lazy ass me? Like
hmm,
there might be a big difference.
yeah, I don't
I
know.
take my trash out, I walk to my car,
Yeah,
I do housework. I'm
yeah,
not running races. Especially
yeah,
like they run through mud and all that. Like they are working for real.
yeah,
And she said she exercises for an hour every day and is getting in somewhere from like 12 to 15,000 steps every day. Like
yeah,
she does a lot.
yeah, yep. But it was, yeah. Hey, Melissa, it's great to see you. Hey, Suez. It was a great interview. I totally agree. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. And I was so happy that she was so forthright because, that she was dealing with a lot, and a lot of different kinds of illnesses. So, and it's funny whenever I mean, when I first heard of like autoimmune, it was like, what's the big deal? Like, okay, you have allergies, it sucks. But I
Hmm.
didn't realize how problematic these autoimmune problems can be. I mean, loss of muscle control, the muscles that like help you breathe, like
Dude.
that's, yeah. I was like, oh my god, oh my
And when she
god,
said she'll just be like sitting in bed, or she would before she got a handle on it and just
mm-hmm.
head would fall back.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I'm thinking of the couple times where I feel like I've lost control of my body have been so scary.
mm-hmm.
And to be in that, like to just have that happen and then to know like, oh, it's just an autoimmune disease. I would be on the same path as her. I mean, I am, but I
Mm-hmm.
would have done it for that reason. Like, oh, I've got to fix this because that can't happen. I
Yeah.
can't have muscles just flying out of control sometimes. That does not work for me. Like,
Yeah.
Arien is a control freak. I need certain things to just happen when I want them to happen and only then.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree. Totally agree. That was, that was scary to hear. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I see Esther writes, I have seen too many family members die from diabetes complications and lose limbs, so I follow the suggestions for where my numbers should be and I try to attain those numbers. Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm definitely not saying that A1C, doesn't need to be followed or paid attention to. I think we don't really know. So at this point, yeah, we got to follow the numbers as we understand them.
Hmm.
And I think the kind of the takeaway in the conversation we had was that, she was kind of like, she probably needs to do more fasting to get those numbers down, but she doesn't, like to fast or is tired of it. So
Hmm.
maybe needed a break, but she might go back to it as well. So, yeah. But I think her situation is a little bit, I mean, it's unique. So I don't know that we all have to worry about the same thing in the same way.
Yeah. That part I wasn't too, well, you know me. I'm not big on fasting. So,
Hmm.
especially like looking at her, she looks to be pretty low body fat. Like, I don't know
Yeah, that was
how
why I was
much
like, you
fasting
have to
she could
eat
even
so
do.
much. You have to eat so much on your eating days to make up so that you don't lose weight. But she said she
Right.
didn't lose weight with all the fasting. She just got more muscular.
Yeah. So I just, that's why my thought goes to, is the A1C that important in the first place? Does she need to bring it down? Because as far as I can tell, she seems to be very healthy and seems to have solved a lot of those problems and given more time can probably solve more and continue healing. Um, should we be focusing on A1C or should we be focusing on, I would say more so the autoimmune symptoms and
Yeah, yeah,
getting those further under control?
yeah, probably. So so it definitely seems like, she's got a challenge and, a bit of stuff to work on. I'm curious as to, the periods when she is very strict, if there's more control during those times than others.
Wait, say that again. If what becomes different in those times?
If she has more control over her symptoms than others. Because when she's very strict, I'm just wondering, because, she goes through periods of being more strict and then less strict.
Oh, yeah. And it seems that the autoimmune people like are especially sensitive, where being as strict as possible produces the best results in a really like market way.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like, oh, I think I might feel better or something. It's like I had some bread and I can feel it. I had some other, like she was saying, um, was it green vegetables like lettuce and stuff? Like she was feeling the effects of very, very quickly. Yeah, I wonder if my guess would be that you're right, that being more strict really controls those symptoms.
Yeah. So I don't know. But it was really interesting to hear. It was a great interview, and I really hope that a lot of people were able to, to take away something really helpful or interesting from the conversation. And everybody who's here, please hit the like button and subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you can get notification every time we go live.
Yes, do all the things. The thing about Black people being carb intolerant, I have to think through that and try to figure out why that is. But it does seem to be the case that we are just more intolerant. We have worse outcomes just from eating carbohydrates.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. So I don't, who knows why and whether we'll ever get that information. But I think we really do need to ask that question and put that on the table.
Yeah. I'm every time I talk to somebody, and it's been happening, I feel like more often lately that maybe it's just as people age, we start talking about health more. But I end up in conversations and somebody says something like, yeah, bread doesn't like me. And I go, yes. No, it doesn't. It doesn't like any of us. You get it.
It hates your guts.
Right.
It hates your guts, and it's looking for a way to take you down. Literally, yes.
Yeah, like it is going in there with knives out, poking.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't get that.
Yeah.
I like that she said, that she eats berries sometimes, and as far as just blood sugar, they don't bother her. But she said 3 grapes raise her blood sugar to like 130.
Yeah.
That was very interesting. I wonder why that is. But I have seen of fruits, like grapes are some of the highest glycemic fruits out there, like grapes and bananas and mangoes. And berries are way at the bottom.
Yeah.
I guess in sweet fruits, because there are like avocados a fruit, but I don't think that has much sugar in it at all. Right?
Yeah, it's more fiber, if anything. So Esther says, some are saying that adding back in carbs is okay once you reach a certain point, but I don't see how that can be true. It's not true, Esther. It's not true. You are absolutely right to ask those questions. It's not true. I don't know, where that's coming from, except, just sugar addiction. People want to have their sugar.
And if you want to, then fine. But like saying that it's okay, I would have to ask them like, all right, so I need you to define okay. What are you saying? Are you saying without a plethora of symptoms again? Because that's the argument that people have about, well, what is actually healing your gut? Your gut is healed when you can tolerate plant foods again. Then like, okay, but they're still bad, right? And the answer is yes. Like just because, I guess another way to think about that would be, the saying is the dosage makes the poison. So just because a certain amount of a thing doesn't kill you doesn't mean that that thing is good for you or that thing is something that you should be consuming.
Yeah, absolutely. So Esther, don't do it. Don't listen to them. And, we're going to come back to that topic later on in the live stream. But yeah, I mean, it's not going to work. It's not helpful, especially if you have pre-diabetes or diabetes. It's just not going to work.
Yeah. Like, you got to bring those down. You got to get yourself out of those conditions and get to the point of feeling great. And, when you're there, when you're completely stable, you feel like you want to add something back in? Maybe. But for most of us, that's a long ways away. It's going to take time to get there. And hopefully by the time you get there, you're going to feel like, I don't feel like it. I don't want to risk it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
just because you can doesn't mean you should. Exactly.
So, yeah, and I think people are just, we're all addicted to sugar, sweets. And, so we look for a way to justify it. Although I don't understand why we need to bring everybody around us down as well. I mean, it's one thing, for people to say, you know what, I just like this stuff and I'm going to eat it. Why you have to convince all of the world around you that you're doing the right thing and they should be doing what you're doing. It's like, why do that? Just say,
right.
I like the sweet stuff and I'm pretty healthy, so I'm going to eat it.
And just eat your sweets and shut up about it. Like, it's fine for you to be wrong as an individual. The problem that I have is when people are loud and wrong because they're influencing other people to be wrong. Like, if you want to eat your sweets, go right on ahead. You don't have to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have not decreed that, this stuff can't be eaten. And now, so I see I'm DeBrown says, how bad is giving into the cravings once a month as a treat to yourself? And I think, again, that's a great question. And that question, of course, comes out of these conversations about eating honey and all of these other things. I mean, it really depends. If you're struggling to get your diabetes under control, you should not ever do it. But, if you are very fit, all your numbers are great, you've not ever been diagnosed as being pre-diabetic, because if you are, that means you have been insulin resistant for a long time and you've got a problem. So, if you've never been diagnosed like that, then, maybe it's fine. And you can get right back on program without like going on a sugar binge that lasts a week, then, sure, do it once a month. But, but know that, I mean, you're taking a small step back on your health, and then you decide how many steps back you feel like you want to take. And it's okay. Yeah.
Treat it like drugs. Probably is
it's a good party,
it's a really,
it's
a really good way to look at it.
Knock yourself out with a little blow and everything, and then,
like, if you decide that you want to be a casual sugar user, then okay. Understand that that's what that is, though, and treat it that way. Think about it that way, with that level of gravity. If you feel like, oh no, I can't drink because I can't control my impulses, you may not be able to control the sugar impulse either. Yeah. It's just a legal drug. Unfortunately, because it's legal and because there's a ton of money to be made off of it, it's pushed everywhere. So you could very easily have a little bit, and that spirals into a whole weekend or a whole week or a whole month of now you're off plan. You're eating trash all the time. And a lot of times the trash that you want to eat isn't just sugar. It's the other things that you really, really need to stay away from, like the grains, like the seed oils that are in the processed food. So that said, though, everyone is allowed to eat trash if they want to. How bad is it? Like Ade said, it could very well set you back on your goals. It could very well put you back into the health state that you didn't want to be in, that you were trying to get away from. But like, it's not necessarily that the one is going to do it. It's that the one opens the door for the next one and the next one.
Yeah.
And that's the thing to worry about. That's the thing to be concerned about. That's the thing to try to control.
Yeah. So, so I say, don't do it. And I see Evelyn says, when you're carb addicted and diabetic, you cannot remain in remission if you put those foods back in. Don't kid yourself. That's absolutely right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, and Melissa says it's because it makes you feel better if other people are doing the bad thing too. You know?
That makes sense.
But, you know, didn't your mom say when you were a kid, if somebody else is jumping off the bridge, are you going to jump off of it too? I mean, you know, sometimes you got to stand alone and walk away from the crowd and do your own thing. And that's what, you know, that's the kind of, you know, personality trait that's required at this point to do carnivore, because we are all going totally against the mainstream. Yeah. So theoretically, we all have that, you know, that personality trait and that ability to do that. So then I'm like, I don't understand this. Like, why are you like bringing us all down with you?
Yeah. And it really, like, we are bombarded with it everywhere we go, all the time. The smells are there. The advertising is there all the time. Like, you'd have to really live outside of civilization to not be tempted.
Yeah. And actually, that's something that was interesting about what Joan Eifland, her research has uncovered. She's the one who talks about processed foods being addictive. And, you know, she was saying, like, the process of creating that addiction, it's partly about, you know, the look of the product, the marketing, the branding of it, the colors, and then you taste it. And then that connection is made. So every time you see like the logo, it like kicks that brain thing off, that, you know, that cycle in your brain. So you don't even have to eat it more than that one time that it was handed to you for free. You know, so you get hooked like from that free sample. And then from there on after, every time you see the bag, the brand, you know, an advertisement, it's going to kick off that desire. So... You know, so it's like you get hooked without even your permission. I mean, that's as if, you know, somebody like slipped some crack into your, I don't know, coffee. And now like you don't have the ability to control yourself around this product, which, you know, you didn't know that was going to be the effect. You didn't want that. You didn't ask for it, you know, so yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. It was built to manipulate you, and That's what sucks about it, is you don't realize that. I guess that's why you said involuntarily. Like, you don't realize it's happening. You just think, no, I like Ho-Ho's, I like McDonald's, and you're not thinking about how you've been psychologically predisposed by all of this advertising to build that positive association with that thing. Yeah, and then it's horrible.
Yeah. So like you said, I mean, in some ways it feels like you do have to be living in, you know, in a cave or in a, you know, deserted island. And that's kind of the only way that you can kind of get away from all of this. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this, it can get isolating, because it does feel like everyone else is living this way, and am I the smart one, or am I the stupid one who just thinks they're smart because I'm doing something completely different? I'm not for any of that. No, I don't want to go to McDonald's. I'm good. No, I don't want to eat that. I'm all right. I don't need any rice.
Yeah. So Miss Tady says that's how drug dealers operate. Exactly. You get your one free sample of crack, and then from then on, I assume, I've heard. I don't know. I think I saw that on The Wire. I don't know.
I was just going to say, that's how it works on The Wire. I don't know. Never done crack before in my life. Never bought crack. I don't know the prices. I don't know where to go to get it. Don't ask me. I am not Stringer Bell. I don't know any of that.
Yeah. I've never bought crack. I've never had any crack, and I don't intend to. But living in New York through the crack era, you know, it's kind of hard not to have some good information about like the whole process. You know. But I also grew up knowing crack is whack, you know, like we had like the murals out there. Crack is whack. Don't do crack. Your brain on drugs.
Right. So no experience with crack, but if you wanted experience, you would know where to go.
I don't know that I would know where to go, but
Mm.
I would understand, sort of the process, how you do it. First, you steal a antenna off a car. This is 1980s, I think.
Right, right. Antennas on cars. I'm gonna,
Yes. Yeah, yeah. I've actually been going through a phase of listening to house music because I was like a club kid and I loved house music. And yeah, so I don't know. The last 2 days I've been like deep, like 1987, 1988. Good times.
right. Okay.
House music all night long. What up?
Breathe, breathe and stop. Breathe and stop. Okay.
Yes.
That mood got you.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, Melissa, thank you so much for the super sticker. I love it. Yes, I do rock. I do rock. Thank you. And Evelyn says you have to identify yourself as an addict and then say no every time if you want to be free. Sugar is crack. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's a commitment that I've made to myself. Like and it's not even like, I'm just saying no. Like I am remembering how bad I feel when I consume the substance. So, there is that moment of bliss when you eat the thing. Like, there's no denying there is a moment of emotional, physical bliss. But immediately afterwards, I can feel my blood sugar shooting through the roof. I can feel literally, the insulin coming, the blood sugar dropping, like all of that stuff. And so within a half an hour, I feel not just back to where I started, but like 1,000 times worse. And, and I know that it takes days to get back to feeling, really good. So it's a big commitment to make that decision to have that bite because I know I'm going to be making the commitment to feeling bad for days.
Right.
So there you go. How bad do you want to feel and for how long?
Right. And that was how I think that came up during the interview. And I really like that you said that. Like it all comes down to just how bad do you want to feel? This doesn't you can do what you want, but you will feel the effects of it. And at some point you are making a conscious decision. You can't say I don't know every time. I didn't know. I didn't know it was going to do this to me. Fool me once.
Yeah.
And then after that, nah, you grown. You knew what was coming.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I see a whole bunch of people here. Again, hit the like button, subscribe, and click the little bell icon so you can get notification every time we post a video. Okay, so I think we should touch on Thanksgiving. So what did you do? What did you eat? Did you stay on track? And everybody here, I see Esther said that she stayed on track and she's really proud of that. So yay, Esther, I'm very proud of you. What did everybody else do? I made a brisket and I did a family Zoom, but my family, I don't know, we can't get it together in terms of the eating. So I told everybody dinner at 7 p.m. on Zoom. I arrived, dinner was just getting ready and I was pulling it out of the oven. Everybody came and most everybody had eaten already. And a lot of people weren't clear that we were doing this. They just happened to get on the Zoom or somebody called them or whatever. So yeah, it was real random. So I was the only one eating, but there you go.
I guess, do you want a Zoom though with a bunch of people like all up in the camera eating? Like
yes,
mouth noises and food falling out of people's mouths and
I don't know, we're pretty good at keeping food in.
Okay. Well, yeah, these are the foxes. I'm thinking of regular family, not I just assume with the we don't lick plates and the other like your whole family has been through a finishing school of some sort and all those rules are just passed down all the
no, that was just me I'm the only one who went to finishing school.
Okay, so
yeah,
wait, did you really go to finishing school?
You could call it that, but it was an extremely rigorous school. but it was, yeah, a private girls' school that sends you to the, the girls' versions of the Ivy Leagues. So it started in 1884.
Holy crap.
Yeah. It's all white, very wealthy. My classmates owned islands, that kind of wealthy. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Things are fitting together.
Yeah. So their parents were often ladies who lunched. That's a thing. So, women who lunch and go to the spa. And if you ever saw that movie, The Women, that was them. But it was also a very rigorous school, very, very, excellent education. But yeah, you could call it a finishing school as well. We did have classes to learn about tea and etiquette and how to set a table, all that kind of stuff.
Holy crap. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just joking, but
Yeah.
I'm not super surprised though. I'm surprised by the level of rich this school was, but
yeah,
not that you went to one. Okay.
So that's where I learned about fine cheeses. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I had a not fine but really good cheese. It was bacon, horseradish, cheddar.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never thought of such a thing, and I said, okay, those are 3 things that I like all in one. That should be good. And yeah, it's been great. I've been eating small.
That sounds good. Yeah. I see our team just rocked it and had amazing things to eat for Thanksgiving. So, let's see, living life now, and Annika stayed on track. Island Girl had fish. So when you live on an island, you're going to have fish, and that's awesome.
Makes sense.
Melissa is back on track. So yeah, a little bit off. Evelyn had turkey with bacon and stuffing made with pork rinds and mozzarella cheese, along with butter and onions and celery, etc. Wow. Okay. So man, that recipe for carnivore stuffing was really making the rounds. So it sounds like it was a success. So many people made it, and it seemed like people really, really liked it. Are you going to make it ever?
Probably not.
Why?
It looks cool. It's also like way more work than I feel like doing for most things that I cook.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a decent number of ingredients, a decent number of things you have to do. Like so I did make the artichoke dip, and even that was like I had to go to the store to buy specific things to make a specific thing that I'm only gonna make once. Like that's annoying to me.
Yeah.
So I had to buy the Parmesan cheese because I didn't have any, because I haven't had pasta in God knows how long. So, and that's the only thing I use Parmesan cheese for. I had to buy the artichokes. I've never seen artichokes in real life in my life. So like I had to,
you had to go to somebody in the store. Ma'am, can you point me to the avocado or the artichoke? I don't even know what it looks like.
It's some sort of vegetable. I don't know. It goes in dip and maybe
looks like a weird giant acorn. Maybe sometimes it's purple. I don't know.
I think white people may eat them by themselves. I don't know. What is this thing? Like, I think I did end up finding it. It was in a weird place. It wasn't with all the other. Finding vegetables was hard. Like canned vegetables. Like if you want to find green beans, it's easy because there's a ton of them, and so you're just scanning the aisle, and here's the green bean section, and you get both hands on the screen, and it's big. But like the artichokes were like up at the top because it starts with an A. And no one's buying a ton of artichokes. So there's like 2 cans. There's 2 cans next to each other, and then they go back further deep into the shelf. So yeah, like, but anyway, bought those, put it all together, and it tasted okay.
Mm-hmm.
I used baconaise instead of regular mayonnaise. So besides the artichoke itself, it was actually carnivore. And came out pretty good, but like
Nice.
I don't want to eat any more of it. So I still have some left over, and I took it out the fridge today, and I think I'm gonna throw it away. And
What?
yeah,
Why? You went to all this effort to make it. Why would you?
it doesn't. It tastes gritty. It has a gritty texture, like because it's just Parmesan cheese and fat and artichoke.
I think
It's
you
not
gotta. This is why you gotta use cream cheese, Parmesan cheese and cream cheese, because that's gonna give the creamy base that you're looking for.
right, and that's what somebody else had said, and then I thought, okay, I could do that, but then like I'm gonna have to take a lactose pill or lactase pill when I eat it because cream cheese and me do not get along. Like me and soft cheeses. Mm-mm. So
Well, you could use heavy whipping cream and butter.
that's what I thought. If I make one of these again, I will have to do it with heavy cream to make
Yeah.
it creamier. Because
Because the cheese sauce that I used to make, it was cream cheese, butter, heavy whipping cream, and cheddar. And it was super smooth and didn't have that grittiness. But I've seen others where they don't put in as much of those other ingredients, and it definitely has that gritty sort of falling apart texture. So, yeah.
and see, I thought that it would be. I thought the mayonnaise would like keep it in a decent texture, and did not.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I see Greg says he bought a brisket and a turkey for Thanksgiving and smoked the brisket the day before. And on Thanksgiving, spatchcocked the turkey and smoked it.
He did what to a turkey?
Spatchcock. So if you didn't know what that is, I didn't until somebody said that to me, and I was like, "What?"
It sounds like a crime.
I know it is. So you cut it in half. You cleaver it in half, all the way down, and you sort of open it, and then you smash it down, and so it's like cooking on the inside and the outside. I don't know. Yeah, it's like you splay it open. You cut open its chest, and you splay it open, and you cook it
nice.
like that.
So it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
That,
but
I
a
used to do
turkey
that
is
too.
huge, so I don't know how you spatchcock. I mean, that's like that's going to take up like a 4-foot table. I don't know how you do that.
A really big knife and a lot of space probably. I used to do that to chickens. I used to cook whole chicken a lot, and I realized that it was easier to get the entire thing done at the same time without overcooking any of it if I cut it in half first. So I got good at buying a whole chicken and using like shears, kitchen shears and a knife, cutting it right along that, like, I guess, is that the breastbone in the middle? Right through there, and laying that sucker out like butterfly style. And
So you spatchcocked without even knowing it.
right, yeah, I
You
didn't have
discovered a
this-
whole cooking style all on your own.
Right.
Without ever being taught or anything. Like, that's pretty
Right.
amazing. You should feel quite proud of yourself.
I swore I was doing something. I said, "Oh,
Yeah?
you know what I can do? Instead of cutting the chicken after I cook it, I can cut it before."
And you can use scissors, did you?
Yeah,
Kitchen, yeah. See, there you go.
Yeah.
Even better, smarter.
and
You don't even
those
have
make
to
it
use a
lot
knife.
Easier. Yeah, the knife would be like, if I wanted to. Sometimes I would cut it all into the separate parts before and cook all and roast all those. So it would be like the leg and thigh would get cut off, and then I'd cut the cut the breast in half too, and then cook it.
Yeah.
So I might
And-
use the knife to get the leg and thigh out.
And then I see Miss Tady cooked lobster tails, crab legs, deviled eggs, ribs, and creamed spinach.
Jesus.
But then didn't eat anything else that was prepared. That's awesome. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I wish I went there for dinner. I had
Right.
one brisket. I didn't make a lot of variety, just made brisket.
I mean, but were you missing variety though? Were you like,
I
oh,
was
wish
missing
had-
lobster tails and crab legs, sure.
You were thinking
And
about
deviled
lobster
eggs.
tails and crab
And
legs?
ribs. Yeah, all of those. So, and even that carnivore stuffing, I was like, man, I wish there were a way to do this, like, without the cheese
Mm.
or the pork
Yeah.
rinds. I mean, cheese is going to be more of a problem, but I don't know. I'd go through a little discomfort for a serving of, good stuffing. I do have an emergency inhaler, so just in case.
Wait, we're not doing that.
We're
Your
not doing
stuffing
that.
has cheese in it?
All of the carnivore stuffings have cheese in it.
Oh yeah, they're all based on like the one comment said it was
Yeah.
a mozzarella in theirs.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But okay, so it sounds like everybody had a good Thanksgiving. And what were you grateful for, Arien?
Um, just to in this, the midst of this pandemic, to still spend time with my family, and I mean, it was just my parents. My brothers are in Ohio, so they were there with their families. But we all like it feels like it took months, but we finally accepted communicating through through text. So we like people were sending pictures of plates back and forth. Like I got to see what everybody had, and we talked about who cooked what, and we made our jokes about who doesn't cook, but on Thanksgiving Day decided to become a top chef. Like there was all of this fun banter that was happening before dinner. We were gonna have a Zoom after dinner, and my parents were like, "No, I'm tired. I don't feel like it." And I said, "I feel you. I'm
Yeah.
tired too." So we ended up not doing it. But like, it still felt like a good family time. Oh, and then my cousin uh, video called me, so I
Hmm.
got to talk to her for a little while, and our families talked to each other. So like, it still felt like good family interaction.
Hmm.
Um,
So wait, this
Even
was
without
not
being there.
happening on Zoom. It was not happening on Zoom. You were doing this by text.
Yeah. So all of the first stuff with us like sharing the pictures and everything, that was all in text. So like from like
Uh-huh.
I think we ate at 4, maybe 3:30, something like that.
Hmm.
Um, we from probably about 2 o'clock on, we're sharing the pictures.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was all in text.
Okay. So, not fully modern, but getting there. That's awesome.
Which is for us. Like I got a brother who is not much older than me, but acts like he can't ever answer a text message unless it's a
Hmm.
time that he feels like talking, and other than that, you won't hear from him.
Hmm.
But I don't know what it was about that day, but he was on it and was actually
Nice.
responding.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? What were you most thankful for?
Well, that I got to spend the day with all the people I loved and cared for, and that was really awesome. It was surprisingly difficult for me. I mean, it was my first, holiday without my mom, and I, spent a lot of
Mm.
time remembering what I did the previous Thanksgiving. And I actually have a video from that day. So that was the morning that I made pork belly and made that incredibly delicious looking video of the crispy pork belly. So yeah, so I kind of have like a strong memory of that day. So that was a little bit difficult, but eventually I was able to sort of relax and enjoy the day anyway, and and spend the time with family. So that was pretty cool. And my father's side of the family, we've gotten much closer. Since my mom passed, and so that was really helpful too, and nice, and there's just a much stronger connection than there ever was. So yeah,
Good.
yeah. So for that, I am thankful.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Esther said she went to Florida to witness her daughter getting married 3 days before Thanksgiving. So she was indeed thankful for her new blended family. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is amazing. Congratulations, Esther. That's awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah, and Melissa, thanks for all the hearts. I don't know what they're for, but thank you.
I
So,
assume it's
so
just a feeling of love.
yeah, thank you. So, and we did launch the Thanksgiving to Christmas Carnivore Challenge. So I hope, some of you are there and you're getting support that, to help you stay on track. Obviously, like the holiday season, it's hard. And there can be a lot of, a lot of distractions, a lot of things that draw you into eating things that are not on plan. And so the whole goal of having the Facebook group is just to get the support that you need, instantly in the moment, and see people's successes and know that what you're doing is not crazy, because that's really the thing. I mean, before I started, even on Instagram, when you're posting and you're interacting with people, it still kind of feels like, just this sort of made up place. It's not real people. It's just sort of, I don't know, something that's otherworldly. So the first time I pulled together that Zoom meeting and actually looked at, 25, 30 other Black people eating a carnivore diet, I mean, it was just like, oh my God. It was hard to speak. It was hard to get words together. And it was just an amazing, amazing feeling. And I know everybody else was feeling like that too. Just looking at everybody's face, everybody was just like, wow. And it was at that moment that I felt like, oh, this is a real thing. Like, there's other real human beings. Like, this is not made up in my head. So it was awesome.
Yeah.
And that's the power of the Facebook group. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that is it. And it can feel like you are the only one. Or you're the only one like you who's doing this. Like, you look online and you see all the white folks doing it. You just assume that if you look at any subreddit or check a hashtag on Instagram, any place where I guess you're not seeing people's faces, you assume that everyone I'm seeing here is white. They talk like they're white. They don't feel like me. This doesn't feel like a place really for me. So yeah, it's huge to have that community of people that are closer to who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and just to be able to see people in real life. I think that's like what was so helpful to me, and having Zoom meetings where I actually connected with people, and then discovering how many other, people in New York in real life are eating this way. So Melissa, it's been great getting to know you, and, she now lives like not that far from me. So
nice.
So we got to catch up again, Melissa. So, definitely, hit me up again. But it's, it's really great to connect with people like in real life. And so I encourage you to, connect on the Facebook group and find people in your city. We were trying to make those connections early on for people. And, I think, Rashad and, Stella hung out, and I know Virginia and Deborah have hung out. So I'm not sure who else. I feel like other people have connected as well, but yeah, that's definitely happened.
Yeah.
So
it's cool that those connections have been made where you now know you have a person in the same city that you're in, or the same area. Like, we've got a good number of North Carolina people that need to get together and just haven't. And a good number of people in, I guess that's Southeast Virginia, 7 cities that need to make it happen too.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see what's, did we talk about the Ibex?
No, we didn't.
Yeah. So I'm not going to show the video today here, but maybe Arien, can you put the link in the chat?
Sure.
I watched the most disturbing video of I guess Ibexes, which are, I guess, kind of like goats, that basically climbed a a sheer vertical wall that must have been, what, 50 stories tall?
It was really high. It was something like that.
Really high. So just to get to water that's got electrolytes in it. And then they lick the water that's dripping out of this, out of this dam. And without it, they don't have the dexterity, and their bones don't grow right, and they're not strong, and they don't do well without these electrolytes. But it's crazy what they do to get to this water. And it was actually very physically upsetting and scary watching them climb this sheer wall. But there's tons of them. They do this all the time. Yeah. But it was a reminder to me that we talk about how much salt you should be eating, shouldn't be eating, don't eat salt and all this stuff, and we get all of these recommendations. But then you look in nature, and these animals are doing crazy things to get at this water. So clearly it is important. Clearly there is a drive to do it. A drive that overrides common sense. Even animals should know. I don't walk. I don't have the ability to walk up a sheer vertical wall.
No, here's Ada judging the common sense of Ibexes.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. You see animals the animals like common sense. They know.
Do, but I mean, we saw the goats successfully climb.
Yep, they made it.
Yeah, climb up, get what they needed, and go back down. Did not die. I've seen some sort of goat or something like a goat live. These things make nests or whatever you call their living situation, on cliffs. This little dugout that's a foot wide. This is where I'm going to have babies. This is where I'm going to live. That doesn't make any sense to me, but somehow it works for them. I assume they figured it out somehow.
Yeah.
They've evolved to do this.
Yeah. Well, they've evolved. The ones that didn't make it didn't, contribute to the gene pool.
Right.
Yeah. But that means that some didn't make it. And it was upsetting to watch the whole thing.
Some of y'all not gonna make it, and that's okay.
Yeah. But I look at that and I think, they're living there because they have to. But if you had a more comfy, safe place that was at ground level to be, you would do that. I mean, you don't choose the worst possible environment.
Oh, yeah.
For just for kicks.
Yeah, so definitely there's a reason that they need it, and it comes to our they're doing it because it's important for them to get these electrolytes, and they're going. Yeah, I think if they had an easier source of them, they would go there and just lick that water. But no, I know. I
was like, man, if people know this is happening, why can't they put a trough at the ground level and just help them out? Why would you not do that? I would do that.
I would be willing. Be really smart.
Yeah, I mean, if I lived there, I would just make it my business, a couple times a week to put out a big trough and just, refill the water, freshen it up.
I would if the water's already seeping out of the dam, and that's where it's because the dam is built with there's calcium or something that's getting into the water. Couldn't you just build something to collect that water at the bottom so that the goats don't need, the water's already coming out all the time, just collect it. And when it overflows, it goes into the normal place that it overflows to. But in the meantime, it's in this bucket or whatever, and the goats can get at it there without climbing up this whole thing.
So that's what an engineer would say.
Yeah.
A normal person's I got a bucket. I'll just go. But yeah, that's a much better idea. Let's just divert the water that is seeping out into a container that at the bottom that they can drink from.
Right. And Melissa's like, but then you rob them of their muscle development. No, like,
No,
look,
they'll climb something else.
That dam wasn't there at some point earlier.
Yeah, they climb. They'll manage. They'll manage.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have fat goats because we take away their need to climb the dam.
Yeah. So Rianne says the Ibex video was amazing, a must see. So yeah, absolutely, everybody. We put the link in. Definitely take a look at it. It was really stunning. But this is a reminder that electrolytes matter. They really do matter. So yeah. I don't know.
And I just there was talk. I forget where it was, but in the Facebook group about electrolytes and if you need salt. And I think it's going to be different for every person. Like those goats aren't going up there and licking the water because some goat doctor told them, or some goat influencer on GoatTube told them you need to have 5 milligrams of calcium every day. So they're going up there. All right, got to get my 20 licks in, and then I'm good for the day, and I got to do it again tomorrow. Like that's not how that's working. They have the urge to go do it. That water tastes good because their body is saying, I need this thing. So they go up there, they get what they need, and they go back down. So that we can't be scared of electrolytes. We also can't be so beholden to the idea of some external source telling us what that number is that we need, that we forget to listen to our own body. You know when you want salt. You know when you don't need salt. If you have electrolyte drops, I feel like you will quickly learn when they taste disgusting and when they taste okay.
And that's the amazing thing about being on a carnivore diet is that you can rely on your tastes and your urges. So before, the only urge you had was for more sugar. But once you take that out, then, you can see these subtle differences. And yeah, it's just like that, Arien. Sometimes I'm drinking my water and it's fine. And then other times I'm like, man, it's missing something. And I put electrolytes in it and it's like, this is really what I was looking for.
Yep.
So yeah, you just gotta pay attention. But looking at the goats, it gives me, it really reaffirms that notion. And I'm thankful I am thankful every single day that I do not have to climb a sheer face just to lick a wall so that I can be healthy. I am so grateful for that. And if I should have put that on my Thanksgiving list. Thank you, God, for not making me do something like that, because that seems awful. And yeah. That's like one of my nightmare things. Like when I have a nightmare, it's usually like me walking on like a tiny path that keeps getting tinier and tinier until I get to the point where there's no more ledge anymore and I'm just on a cliff face. And then it's like, I can't go back, I can't go forward, I can't go up or down, and I don't know what to do. So that's like my usual nightmare. So when I watch stuff like that, it's like my whole body goes right back into that like moment. So when I was looking at the video, it was just like, and that little kid that's like, kind of stuck. I'm like, oh my God, I know what you're going through.
No.
Yeah.
Somebody please help that goat.
Yeah.
Put a harness on the goat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just put the water in a cup and just give it to him.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Miss M says that's their process. Leave them be. Yeah. Yeah. Probably.
There's a lot of consensus out here that says don't help the goats. And
oh my God.
I feel like y'all are kind of heartless, but
a little bit. Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, y'all got all kinds of excuses why we don't need to help these goats. And
oh my God. I don't know. Even the guy in the video is like very disturbed by it. He didn't like it either.
Right.
I don't know. Leon says elephants uproot trees to get salt. So yeah, I'm not surprised. So Rianne says we should be walking confidently after our water electrolyte nutrient dense meats, not sweet carbs like those are the Ibex. Yeah, I don't have nearly that kind of grace and dexterity as an Ibex. Watching them, I was like, no way would I have descended like them.
No.
They were just like running down, like whoop, doop, doop, doop.
Oh yeah, they go down really quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, no. I'd be so wobbly, baby deer legs. Like, oh, get on this one. Okay, all right. Test that one. Test that. Nope, doesn't feel good. Go on, coming back.
Yeah. I'd be like, never again. Never again. I'm going to find another way. I'm going to get to the top and I'm going to live up there. I'm not coming down again.
Or that, yeah. You could just live there. Why would you go back down? You could just live at the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, you got some engineer brain, because that's how you really solve the problem.
Yeah, go to the source and stay there.
Right.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I go back home? No, home is here now. Home is right here.
Yeah. Wait, Esther says, I have shared my successes with my family on our group thread to encourage carnivore eating, and my sad eating sister posted an article about how chicken is being grown from chicken cells in labs. So, I don't understand. Yeah. I mean, I've been listening to The Sacred Cow on audiobooks, and I really recommend everybody listen to it. I actually was interviewed this week by the author, and so hopefully that'll come out in the next few weeks. And the movie is going to be released worldwide in early January. So I'm hoping to interview her before then, so that to help get the word out. And the book is really great. I highly recommend it. But they go through all of these arguments, and the whole thing about lab grown meat. I mean, I never understood that. Like the sun is basically powering the process of making meat now, but the process of growing meat in a lab requires a whole lot of energy to keep the stuff in the right, at the right temperatures, a whole lot of, nutrients to make it grow, and the base substructure that it's growing in. I mean, it requires a huge amount of investment. So I'm like, if you really compare the cost of these two meats, like one is like 20 times more than the other. Yep. So
it
why?
Doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. And then the energy it takes to produce it, it's like, I mean, is that, coal, oil, like electricity? How is it being powered? Like, nothing about that seems to make sense to me, except that, someone owns the lab and is controlling the process of getting that meat. Yeah. So, yeah.
So, Esther, here's how, or one way to debunk that is to say, basically what they said, like, it doesn't even make sense. It's not even logical that we would grow chicken from cells in a lab, because the inputs would be too great. Chickens already grow. Every animal that exists now is an ecologically perfect animal. Like, it already grows, it already does everything that it needs to do. We can't make that any better. So yeah, to grow them in the lab, now you're like, there's a whole facility that needs to be created. There's all the power that needs to be used to build that. There's somehow I need to feed these cells, so I have to get that. It's not something that I can just do, or it's not a thing that just grows and can eat grass and grubs and whatever else that actual chickens actually eat. Lab-grown chicken would be super expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
well, so I was going to say that like a year or 2 years ago, so in the past, I think like Wisconsin has passed laws about what you can call butter in order to protect, and differentiate cheese and butter from like margarine and other types of products. And those laws have been in place in some states. And then I think it was like 2 years ago, the USDA started to figure out the process for how lab grown meat would be overseen. So, the process of creating it versus distributing it. There are two different agencies that would be overseeing those two processes, and different states were sort of starting to take a stance as to what could be called meat and what could be called, what you would call lab grown meat, so that those two things don't, get overlapped. But I think that there is a push to remove that differentiation, and not every state even makes that differentiation. So it could get to the point that you're in the grocery store and you've got two chickens side by side, and maybe the only difference would be its cost. I don't know. And I bet what would happen is that there'd be a lot of subsidies to make the prices comparable initially, and then of course once you put out all the chicken, actual chicken farmers or whatever, then the prices would rise to what reflects their real cost. But and then you have no other choice but to eat it. But yeah, I mean, that's the real concern. So we do want to be really strict about what can be called meat, and the real disclosure of information about how they're produced.
Yeah. The good thing is, I think the only reason that anyone would do this, though, because it's cheaper, it would be as a marketing thing. Like, says she thinks it's an effort to do meat without actually slaughtering. Yeah, I think it's going to be about some sort of cruelty-free, like, this is, hey, vegans, this, has all the protein that meat has, but it's not an animal with a soul. We didn't kill anything to make this. So you can eat this and not feel bad. I think it's going to be marketed that way. So hopefully it would be really easy to tell what the crap meat is, because it's going to say right on the box or whatever other thing it comes in, hey, this is crap meat.
Yeah.
Don't you want to eat our crap meat? Because look, it's not an animal. It wasn't really an animal. So you can eat this. Yeah.
Well, Leon says, I'll help them in my pot. All I see is meat. But
sounds about right.
I don't know that it is meat, I mean, like, we have not yet to see, humans do better than God or Mother Nature in creating things. So
I thought he was talking about the goats. Like, I will help perhaps the goats into my pot.
Okay, I'm sorry, Leon. Then if that's the case, then yeah, help a goat or an Ibex right into your pot.
Come on in, right here. I got it.
Well, or you can put out a bucket of that water. You'll attract so many of them.
It'll be like there's a Bugs Bunny cartoon where he thinks he's taking a bath, but it's in a big ass pot that they're gonna cook him in. Like, yeah, it'll be like that.
Okay, that's really funny.
Like, he's in there bathing and they're like chopping up carrots and celery to go in there.
Yeah That's exactly it.
Right. That, I assume that was the kind of help that Leon meant.
Yeah So says, I think it's an effort to do meat without actually slaughtering. Yeah, probably.
I could see that. Yeah.
And then Esther says, I'll share the article if you all want to see it. It's being grown in Singapore because they had stated the number of animals people kill daily. This is stemming from the cruelty-free folks. Yeah. I mean, they're doing it here too. So it's not just in other countries. It's happening now. So yeah, I think we definitely need to push back on that. Leon clarified, yes, you meant the goats. Good. Okay. Good. And Alejandro, I see you asked a couple of questions. One, my opinion on vaccines. So I'm not a doctor. And that is it's a controversial topic. So I think that we probably should not dive into that here. But just suffice it to say, there's a lot of changes going on in the world and a lot of things happening and a lot of rush, and that, makes me nervous. So that's all I have to say there.
I can definitely express nervousness about the first run of a vaccine. That
Yeah.
is what I feel.
Yeah. So it remains to be seen. But I think, there's going to be a lot of change over the next year or 18 months. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm not lining up. But, I feel like a lot of times, we have some hesitancy about being the first ones to sign up for a medical testing. There's not good experience with our ancestors in
Right.
medical testing. So,
Right. We have
no,
good reason. So no,
no,
y'all can test that. Y'all
yeah,
can see how that works. And unfortunately, there's going to be a decent number of us who will need to be in that first batch because it's going
yeah,
to frontline health workers. So
yeah,
a good number of people will be us. I pray that they're okay.
yeah,
But me, when it comes to like it gets to a point of voluntarily taking it,
hmm,
maybe not that first time around.
yeah, yeah. And then Alejandro also asked if there's a resource on what blood panels I should request from the doctor after 2 years on keto carnivore. I
Um,
feel like there's got to be a list or a video somewhere where somebody says, here are all the things you should get. But I can't think of anything offhand.
Yeah, I can't think of a comprehensive list. Well, no, I know I've seen them. Like I know
Hmm.
when we had Tony Hampton on, like he ran down a list of the labs that you should get. I know Ken
Oh, well,
Berry
then let's
has,
then go back to that video.
yeah. Well, actually, so I remember him doing it when he was in our Zoom. I don't remember if he did it on YouTube.
Okay.
I hope he did, but I just
Okay.
I can't remember where the conversation went.
Yeah.
Um, and then as far as other people, so check the Tony Hampton video because he probably has done it. If not, you can just straight up reach out to him, and I'm sure he
Hmm.
would have no problem telling you.
Yeah. Reach out to him on Twitter. That's where he lives.
Right. And then I think Ken Berry probably has a video too that says what you should get. Off the top of my head, I'm gonna say fasting insulin, your peptide YY, which is another thing that tells you how much insulin you're producing. Um, get a CAC scan that will like shut down any talk about your cholesterol. Um,
And that's the one that you may have to pay for yourself, right? The doctors don't always want to.
yeah, but the trick to that apparently is to tell your doctor, oh, okay, so I have a history of heart disease and you are refusing to give me this lab. I want you to put that in my medical record.
Hmm.
And the doctor's going to say, oh, no, 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 no. We'll do it. We'll do it. I was just trying to recommend that I don't think it's needed. Like
Hmm.
they're gonna walk it back.
Yeah. Oh, and suggests looking at Judy Cho's new book. And so for those of you who are interested, Judy Cho's book I think came out yesterday, right?
I believe
Um,
so.
yeah, and it's a really comprehensive and great resource for for the carnivore diet. So I highly recommend that you go. Well, one, check out the video, the interview I did with her on the Black Carnivore podcast, and two, get the book. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, okay. So Esther says Dr. Berry says that it would cost millions for them to run all the tests that we really need. Well, it would, yeah. I mean, our healthcare is like crazy expensive because it's more financially beneficial for us to all be sick than to be well or dead. So there you
Hmm.
go. But we're turning it around. We're getting well. That's what we do here. We can opt out of that cycle and we can be healthier and better.
Right. And Alejandro, that's probably speaking to the point that I made way earlier. Like, also taking into account that like it's going to be really hard for a lab to tell you more than what you already know about how you feel.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like, you can get all these tests. I guess I want people to keep these tests in perspective. Um, no one test should like, I don't know that it should change your life or like it should take a lot of information that is new to change your life, and all of a sudden, like, I don't want people panicking. That's what it is. Sorry, I was trying to find the words. I don't want anyone to panic. I don't want you to see a number and panic.
Wow. Okay. So wait, you're freezing. And Evelyn just writes, seeing Dr. Saives tomorrow to go over my blood work labs. He ordered extensive labs. They took 16 vials of blood. Wow. Evelyn, I am just so excited to hear about how that went and how it goes. I mean, I just wonder, like, when you finally get to see a doctor that fully understands carnivore and supports it, it's like, wow, that's a big deal. So please, Evelyn, let us all know, how that went. And 16 vials of blood. How are you here now? Like, was there any blood left in your body? That seems like half the blood volume. That's a lot.
It seems like it. 16 is a big number, but I feel like when I get a lipid panel, they're taking like somewhere around like 6 already just for that. So
yeah,
like, if I
times 3.
Right. So yeah, if I get that plus some other tests, I'm somewhere around 16. Just that easy. It probably seems like a lot, but like, I don't know. Yeah, please do.
No, I complain with 4.
I'd be very interested. You complain with 4 vials?
Yeah. I just hate getting my blood taken. Like, really hate it.
Do you dislike needles? They make you nervous, or...
Yeah, and incompetent people, and then I've got blood vessels that are not very cooperative. So, it's always a thing. And one time I had a tight sweatshirt and it was right here above my sleeve. So it was acting as a tourniquet. And so after we were done, the nurse was, had a like the gauze that you put here. So we're holding, had me hold it down. So I lifted up my arm and she was like, okay, you can let go. And I let go and blood just squirted out. And she had forgotten about the sweatshirt that I had pulled up that was acting as a tourniquet. And so everybody was like, oh, but it's just like stuff like that, just weird, stuff like that, that it's just like, I don't want to do this.
See, I've only had something kind of similar happen one time. I was given blood, and I always give blood with my left arm so that my right arm will can still be used, so I can be on the phone and stuff while I'm giving blood. And it just the hole didn't want to close up the first time. So she pulls the needle out, puts the gauze down, and it was the same thing. Like, all right, hold your hand up or hold your arm up. So I'm doing that, holding the gauze on, and then I let go, and she pulls it off, and it's supposed to be like already scabbed over pretty much. And it wasn't, and it didn't shoot out like, it was just out onto my arm. But even that was like,
it's alarming.
A little bit of, it was kind of shocking. It was a little scary. And I was trying to figure out like, okay, so this is the first time I'm really getting an appreciation for the fact that there's a blood vessel close to my skin and y'all poked a hole in it. And that hole doesn't want to close up. That's a little scary. Yeah.
Or, I mean, well, I don't want to let's move on because we're going to gross people out. I'm sorry about that. Anyway,
hopefully
God bless you. God bless you for those 16 vials. Good luck. It's amazing. And I'm looking forward to hearing the results.
And the results, and just to know like what were the 16 tests, or some of those were probably multiple tests. So yeah. That's a lot.
So now I wanted to move on. I'm really excited, actually. So I'm making a video, but I didn't get it done yet. But I wanted to promote one of our own, Annika, who has the channel Living Life Now, is making beauty products. And I don't know if you can see this, but she has made, let's see, oh man, I left my glasses. Oh no, here they are. So she has made, it's grass-fed whipped tallow cream. and just as a moisturizer, and sent that to me, and so I've been using it, and I really like it. It's nice that it's whipped, so it doesn't get super hard, because you know how tallow can be. So it's easy enough to like dip my fingers in and actually be able to rub it on. I asked for it with like nothing else added, and no scents and nothing else. But I think that they also make stuff with essential oils, and also with shea butter and stuff like that. So definitely check out her site. I think I guess you would go to her YouTube channel, and there's probably a website there. Unless there was one. The company is called
Living Life Now.
Yeah. And I think the company is called Head to Toe Blessings. So they might already have they have a website. So the website is head-to-blessing.square.site/.
Head #2 toe blessing.
No. Are you typing the website or?
I was trying to.
So no, it's head-to, like the word TO -toe -blessing.square.site/. So yeah, definitely go and check out. Well, she's here now, so perhaps she will type the link into the chat so that you can stop so we don't have to watch you like mangle this in every way possible.
This is like that moment where like, you gotta do this, you gotta get this right. I'm not getting this right. I'm so not getting this right. I see that. It's but it's a tough one. It's not exactly your fault. Okay, so but yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to whip stuff. Like I have a bunch of tallow now that I don't really feel like making the soap out of. I need more stuff for my skin, so I would I use it straight, but like whipped would be even nicer. But I haven't been able to figure out how to whip it without like having a big mixer or something.
Yeah. I've done that before. It's a big mess, and I don't want to do it again. So thank you, Living Life Now.
You can make the mess, and I'll just have the finished product.
Yes. It's I don't want to do it. But I do like using tallow. I gotta say, I've been using tallow as lotion for, I'd say maybe the past 6 weeks. I think when we first started talking about it. It's great. Like I am really happy with it as lotion.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm very pleased. Now it does have a little bit of an odor, not a bad odor, but it's not inert. And so I can see, like Melissa says, she'd prefer the essential oils in it. I would too, but my skin, like, I gotta not add any extra anything. So, yeah. So, but it quickly blends into nothing.
Yeah.
So.
I think it depends on what it came from and how you cook that meat, because I was explaining this to somebody on Reddit the other day, that it's easier. The smell for me, I think you said this, and it's proven to be true. It goes away in about an hour or under. But the smell is less strong if you didn't cook the meat so strongly. So like if you it's like, say you fry a steak or something, and then but it's literally just steak and pan and maybe salt. Like you didn't add spices to it, so you're not adding a smell that way. But even just that, like that frying of the meat, some of that smell gets into the tallow. Versus if I am using tallow that came from a meat that was stewed in the Instapot.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
That's a much more mild smell.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, I will say, on Friday, like, I didn't eat all day, and it was a really long day, and I did a ton of walking. And when I finally, it was late in the evening, real late, close to midnight, I ate, and I fried up 2 pork copa steaks, which is, I think it's the ribeye cut, but in a pig. And I fried it, and I fried it to perfection. I mean, I literally don't think I have ever made anything better. And there were all these crispy bits that were crispy and fried in the pan. I'm just sharing this. It was like the best thing ever. It was like the best moment, the best meal, the best taste, the best everything ever. So just sharing that.
Sounds awesome. And it was actually pork.
Yeah. Yeah.
And didn't
no, fresh pork I think is fine. It's really just the processed stuff. And I've been, in fact, craving pork a lot lately. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to order some more.
Good stuff.
But Annika, if you could put the link to your website in the well, I don't know. I think maybe she can't put a link in the chat. It might not allow you to put a link in.
Really?
Yeah, but everybody, I will put the link to the website in the description of this video.
Yeah, and tell me it's head to toe blessing.
No, you're not listening. It's
that's not what you said, head to toe? Well, with the dashes. I was going to say with the dashes.
Head dash to, like T-O dash toe dash blessing.
Right.
Dot square dot site / So Melissa can't wait to buy. Definitely. Evelyn. Good. Evelyn can relate to me raving about my steak. Thank you, Evelyn. I appreciate that. So definitely everybody go and check out the website. I love to promote the things that our members are doing that are really awesome. Yeah, Annika says it won't let her paste the website. Yeah, I forgot. The chat won't let you do that. But Arien can do it. I don't know how.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know.
I guess because I'm a mod. I have powers.
Oh, yeah. That must be why. You do have powers. Awesome. The power! Don't abuse it though.
No, definitely.
Yeah. But I love to promote all the awesome things that our members are doing. So please let me know if you have some venture that would be interesting to our people or whatever. Another one of our members, Anna Fogg, is an artist and a yogi, and I am taking an art class with her, and it has really been awesome. So I am gonna do a video, I hope tonight. I'm gonna do a video tonight and kind of showcase something that I've been working on, and I'm gonna share it in the Carnivore challenge. So join the group to see it there. But I'm sure I will share it further elsewhere. But I really encourage all of you, if you, if you are into planners, if you're a planner person, or if you're crafty or artistic, absolutely take her class. It's really, really fun. And I have loved unlocking my creativity.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I did have someone reach out to me from a company that makes CBD oil, and they were asking me to consider working with them. So I was kind of like, I don't know, but people use it for pain and people still. That's still something that people struggle with. So you guys let me know if that's something that would be of interest to you.
And doesn't it help people sleep too? Calms your nerves or something?
Nalaja is asking about the last part of the link after the square.
It's just dot site after.
And /.
Yeah, but most modern browsers, I mean, with mine, I'm using Firefox. I didn't type in the slash and it just put it in.
Oh, okay. So, but yeah, CBD it can help with sleep. It can help with a lot of different things. So, yeah, but let me know what you think. Um, yeah. And let's see, was there anything else? Oh, we were going to rant and rave about, honey chat.
You know what? Do you want to save that one? We can do it if you want, but we could also save it.
No, I think we should do it because I'm sure that something else will happen that will, get
Right.
us going in the future. So shouldn't miss the
So
opportunity.
everyone's favorite kind of carnivore, crazy carnivore, Mr. Saladino, is now talking about. He's saying it's not just honey anymore. He's also saying tubers. He's saying seasonal fruit. So basically, like he is going further down the carbohydrate trail. I don't know. At some point, he'll tell me that grains are fine as long as they don't have some omega-6 oil in them. He's firmly convinced that the omega-6 oils, specifically I think linoleic acid, is what makes a person insulin resistant. And as long as you're not consuming that, you can have carbohydrates in I guess a moderate amount or something.
So linoleic acid, is that omega-6 or that's a specific type of omega-6?
It's a type of omega-6. There's a few different kinds that plants have, and really that animals have too, but in much smaller amounts in animals.
Mm-hmm. And so the linoleic acid, is that like what you get in walnuts or I don't know. I mean, like, where is
I,
the largest amount of it found?
that's a good question. That I don't know. I just know that you find very high amounts of it in plant foods, but which specific plant foods, I couldn't say.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Let's see, dietary sources. Oh, what do you know? Seed oils. Those are the highest ones. Grapeseed oil, poppy seed. Ew, there's an oil made from melon seeds. I've never heard of this before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sunflower oil, corn oil, all of those are really high. To get down to something that is a normal food that has it, I'm like way down in this list, and I see chicken fat
Mm-hmm.
and egg yolks, which are at only egg yolks are 16%, chicken fat is 18 to 23% versus safflower oil is 75%
Mm-hmm.
linoleic acid. So yeah, mostly in your seed oils.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, and yeah, apparently almonds too.
Mm. And Erica says he's talking hunter gatherer. Yeah.
Right.
So that's what we were talking about before. And early on in my career, I was getting a PhD in anthropology. So, I got a lot of, talking to about making sure not to impose, well, one, not to assume that modern day hunter gatherers are like, sort of basically stuck in time and exact replicant of, you know, um, modern Homo sapiens in the past. They have evolved and changed and grown just as, everyone has. And so they are not like a picture of what the past was like. And also, what else were you saying about the hunter gatherers?
Oh, just also humans didn't evolve to be hunter gatherers. We evolved as hunters. The gathering part is something that happened after, and we only gather as much as we require. Like, if there isn't meat available, if there isn't an animal available for us to eat, then yeah, we're going to find other sources of food. And when
Mm-hmm.
that fruit, if you live in the tropics, when that fruit is seasonally available, yeah, you're going to eat that fruit because it's there. You're going to put on some
Mm-hmm.
fat. And then you're going to go back to hunting because that fruit does not last for any regular period of time. So even saying like eating seasonal fruit, like is kind of, it's too simplified, because I don't think we would have access to that fruit like all the time. even throughout that season. Like even if we're talking summer, it's not going to be available all the time, or it wouldn't. Ancestrally, it wouldn't be available all the time. So yeah, like this whole hunter gatherer thing, I it's a way to like give an anthropological like veneer to the carbs that he wants to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't sound consistent to me. It doesn't feel right. If you want to eat that stuff, then like he's who I'm talking about when I say loud and wrong. Like, if you want to eat that stuff, go ahead. Be quiet about it.
Yeah. Or, just don't call yourself a carnivore and try to be the head of the carnivore community and start dragging us all in a different direction.
Right. Like I shared with you like a specific screenshot of somebody saying like Saladino saying XYZ, and it's confusing. I don't know what to do now.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you go off on these wild tangents for what feels to me like no reason. I don't
Yeah.
I don't see it. Unless
Well, I mean, it's starting to feel like, just to remain relevant. I mean, I think that probably like, quarantine has been really hard for a lot of people, and a lot of people have kind of fallen off whatever their program is or had more cravings and whatnot. And, and it could just be that, he's just trying to accommodate what people are doing and, and kind of give an out for it. But it's like, that's not helpful.
that's not what we do.
No.
Our job is not to enable.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to help people and heal people, you don't do that by saying, oh, okay, this is the stuff that you're doing, it's okay. It's not that bad.
Yeah. And Erica says, I feel like they keep changing things to keep people having to buy more books, watch more content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so too. And, and it's so weird that this would be happening in the carnivore space because there's like almost no way to make money in carnivore. There's like nothing to buy. And same in fasting, in the whole fasting world. It's like there's nothing to buy. Fasting is about taking something away. So, like all of this is just meant, it's like fear mongering and confusion as an effort to keep you, consuming content, buying products, whatever. But all it does is like confuse people. And it's really frustrating when you see people who are genuinely sick and genuinely confused about what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do think he enjoys the controversy. He enjoys being talked about and people watching his stuff to see what crazy thing he'll say next. And it probably works to an extent. Like it keeps people buying books because they want to see what this guy is saying. And it's controversial because it's enabling. So it's going to automatically be attractive for that reason. Oh, you mean to tell me that I can be a carnivore and eat some of this stuff that I really miss eating because I never really gave up my sugar addiction?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. So don't listen. Just, stay the course. Stay the course, man. Stay the course.
Right. Keep it simple. Go back beyond hunter-gatherer. Think about evolution and think about like there are things that are okay and there are things that are good. So maybe it's okay to have a potato. Maybe it's okay to have a little bit of honey now and then, but they're not good. And that's what I think is much more important.
Yeah. Yeah. And Erica says the problem is that they cultivate turning a way of eating into a religion of sorts. 100%. And we did a podcast, a live stream on that. I guess that was me and Deborah.
I think so.
That was a long time ago in the before times. Before she had to leave us and go attend to work and life. Yeah. I know
She
we're
left us
very
all by our
sad.
lonesome.
I know. And I miss her dearly. But yeah, we talked about, whether this diet is a religion or a way of eating. And some people do turn it into, like a religion. And, and it's just confusing. Like, that's why we talk about here. Health is the most important thing. How are you feeling? That is the goal. That is the aim. And, and improving, getting stronger. That's what's important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think it should be simple. I think life should be, as much as we can make it, life should be simple. Mm-hmm. And listening to people like him is not conducive to that goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's not going to be. But, it wasn't even before. Remember when we had to have the bone meal powder and we had to have the liver, and he was eating like raw kidney and thymus and all of these things. Like, it was always complicated with him. So I kind of stopped listening a long time ago because every time I watched, it felt like, oh, there's so many things I haven't done. And where am I going to get my methionine? I don't even know what that is, but I got to get it. So.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what it was for me? I think I told you about this. He did a show about deuterium, which is like heavy hydrogen. It's like hydrogen with an extra 2 neutrons or something. And that's like way deep into chemistry or physics or something. Sorry for that. But for the ones who understand it, for the ones who don't understand it, just know that like it's a different kind of hydrogen. And supposedly you're supposed to have this much of it. And he was like linking to, he had a guy on who was talking about getting a test for how much deuterium you have in your system. And, but like, I love coming from my paleo background because I feel like it makes it easy to cull through a lot of this nonsense. The same way those goats are not thinking about calcium. They just know that water tastes good and they're going to get some of that good tasting water when they really have a taste for it. No one is thinking, oh, you know what? I need some deuterium today. So let me go ahead and get this rib roast, and I need to cook it specifically in a way that does not leach out the deuterium because my body is craving deuterium. I can feel it. Or not even craving. They're just thinking about, Saladino told me that I need to have 20 milligrams of deuterium every day. It's not how this works. It's not how humanity has ever worked. Let it go.
Yeah. So, right. And this whole way of eating is supposed to be super simple and easy. Just cook a piece of meat. But, he made it very complicated and overly complicated. So that was really frustrating. And at this point, I had to stop listening because it was like I always felt anxious and like there was something that I wasn't doing, and that doesn't work for me.
Yeah, and so that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me, and we deal with it now. Like this nose to tail thing, and people like feeling like you're not doing carnivore unless you eat liver, like. That happens in our group. It happens online. You talk to people and they go, well, I mean, I feel like I'm doing pretty good, but I still haven't gotten to eating liver yet. And we're like, oh, okay, who told you had to eat liver? And somewhere they've gotten this idea that they have to eat liver. And if they're not eating liver, then they are doing some grand disservice to themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, I think you should just keep trying it from time to time, but don't worry about it, If you don't like it, it's all right. Don't worry about it.
Right. There are other organs. There are other ways to get all the things that liver has. It's not going to be, most of them won't be as efficient as liver, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm. But if we're going through 2 pounds of meat, but we're going through 2 pounds of meat a day, like you don't need to be efficient. Like that's a lot. All the vitamins are coming and we're hitting our RDA. Like it doesn't need to be liver. And in fact, you don't even need that much of it because it is so nutrient dense. It's really not something that you need to eat a ton of.
Right. So yeah, that's a 2 pounds is a lot of space to squeeze
Hmm.
in things that will give you the rest of what you might be missing if you're not eating
Hmm.
liver.
Yeah. And like when they give the nutrient density of meat, they're talking about 100 grams, which is like 3 ounces, 3.5 ounces. So, oh, sorry, when you extrapolate that to, 32 ounces, like you're
Hmm.
going way over RDA on everything.
Yep.
Even things that are low, you're still going way over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
don't worry about it.
you're not eating anti-nutrients that are stopping you from
Mm-hmm.
absorbing those things. They're much more available in the meat. So you're actually using a much greater amount than is in the meat. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you don't have anything to worry about. Just eat
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and stay away from freaking potatoes and honey
Yeah.
and fruit.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. So, so there you go. We've stopped listening to Saladino. Lady V says I stopped listening to Saladino before he went carb crazy. So glad my spidey senses told me not to buy his book. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm. Yep.
yeah. Evelyn says people have to learn what their bodies require. I never eat 2 pounds of meat. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
different for everyone,
I don't know
and it's
how.
different at different times.
Yeah, and I don't know how big or tall you are or what you do. So yeah, everyone's gonna have different requirements. But but if you just follow your taste, you should be fine.
Hmm.
Yeah. So so we should be wrapping it up here. I think we hit on all the things. So next Tuesday we are going to. I have 2 member profiles. So this is a new thing we're doing. I'm gonna do profiles of the Black Carnivore community and what people are doing and how they've achieved their success. So I've got 2 videos that I'm gonna premiere on. Well, I guess I'm going to figure it out whether I do both of them back to back on Tuesday or one on Tuesday and one on Wednesday or something like that. But look forward to that. That's going to be cool. And then we'll be back for a live stream on Thursday, right?
Right.
I know it's late. I'm getting tired.
Yeah, the sleepies are hitting me too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
hold my yawns back.
Yeah. I've been staying up late all week and doing a lot of editing and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And
It's been a
I picked up,
productive but busy week.
and yeah, I've been staying up late too. Just not even super late, but later than I should. And I'm like, all right, today this stops.
Yeah.
We're doing the live. It starts at 7. It's gonna be over by a time, and soon after that, I need to get
Go to
my
bed.
little reader in bed and yeah, get some sleep.
Yeah. Ditto. Ditto. Okay, so so everyone, stay tuned for Tuesday. We're not going to do the live stream on Tuesday, but we will do it on Thursday, and I'm really looking forward to it. I really missed you guys, so I'm so glad we were back. 2 weeks was a long time, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting back into the rhythm of it with you guys. Thanks a lot. All right,
Good night,
everybody.
everyone.
Good night. Bye.